Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of The Talking Stick. It's me, your girl Jess, back again to talk about something maybe you know about, maybe you don't. But, yeah, let's talk it up. As you know, we've changed the spectrum a little bit on the show for this. I'm just kind of testing things out. So we will be doing 2 tarot readings for the collective, that is the Talking Stick Collective. And we will also be, doing 3 topics a week now instead. So we're just going to kind of roll with the punches. And I love that we can actually kind of like do what we want. Like, I do what I want. And, just sort of feel it out. Because the beauty and what I love so much about this channel at this point is that I can really it's just like whatever we want it to be. So you guys please comment, tell me what you think. I really do care about what you think about what we're doing here, and I'd love your suggestions and ideas, because it's like community, it's like more heads are better than one for sure. And I'd love to pass the stick to you guys as far as like getting your input, right? So again, I want to definitely start going live. Anybody who's interested in that, please let me know, and we can definitely discuss how that could look, because I would love it. So anyway, I will be drinking my little green smoothie right now. It's lunchtime and I'm a little hungry and packed with vitamins, but the little mixer cup doesn't sit up, so I have to use a mug, so it's a little funk aroma. But anyhow, okay, today we're going to talk about something that I think is actually pretty interesting. I don't know much about it, so I will be looking over at my notes, so forgive me for that. But, up until I started to really research it, I just didn't know much about it. And what it is circadian rhythms. They are so actually important. And I don't know. I mean, I knew what they were, but I didn't really understand what it was all about or the bigger picture. So that's where I decided hey, let's talk about it on the stick. So here we go. Biological rhythms is the overview, right? So we have more than just circadian rhythms in our body. So I'm going to discuss that really quickly, and then we're just going to focus on the circadians. So biological rhythms are the natural cycle of change in our body's chemicals or functions. An internal master clock that then relates to other clocks in the body. So it's like all of our organs and everything really does have a sense of a clock. And so the clock is located in the brain right above the nerves where the eyes cross. So again, I don't know if you guys watched the chakra episode yesterday, so in the third eye pineal gland area. It's made up of thousands of nerve cells that help sync the body's functions and activities. So that's the master clock. And then each organ, I guess, from what I've understood, has its own sort of clock. So there are 4 main biological rhythms. There's circadian rhythms, the 24-hour cycle that includes physiological and behavioral rhythms like sleeping. The diurnal rhythms, the circadian rhythms synced with day and night. The ultradian rhythms, biological rhythms with a shorter period and higher frequency than circadian rhythms, and the infradian rhythms, biological rhythms that last more than 24 hours, such as the menstrual cycle. Okay, so the circadian clock plays a physical, mental, and behavioral role that responds to light and dark. This clock helps to regulate functions that include sleep, appetite, body temperature, hormone levels, alertness, daily performance, blood pressure, and reaction. External factors can influence your biological rhythms. For instance, exposure to sunlight, drugs, and caffeine can affect your sleep schedule, right? So interesting. I mean, to think about how much of a relationship, and of course for me, I really do understand holistic health. It's something that I have a deep passion for in my life. And so, just to think about, it's not just sleep. It's all these other things that then it's like a domino where just not getting enough sleep can really be something that affects many more, functions of the body. So, the circadian rhythm is your wake-sleep pattern over the course of a 24-hour day. It helps control your daily schedule for sleep and wakefulness. Most living things have one. Circadian rhythm is influenced by light and dark as well as other factors. Your brain receives signals based on your environment and activities, and then activates certain hormones, alters your body temperature, and regulates your metabolism to keep you alert or to create, draw you into sleep. When you experience disruptions to your circadian rhythm, it usually is because of external factors or even sleep disorders, right? So maintaining healthy habits can help you respond better to these natural biological rhythms in your body. There are several components that make up your body's circadian rhythm. It is, like we discussed, it's one of the 4 biological rhythms. So first, the cells in your brain respond to light and dark. Your eyes will capture the changes in the environment and then send signals to different cells about when it's time to be sleepy or time to be awake. Those cells then send more signals to other parts of the brain, which activate other functions that make you either more alert or more tired. Now, my first thought was, man, the Alaskans must struggle because, they have like these days of like almost all light or almost all dark. I've heard what a mind trip it is to be like, oh yeah, it's like the sun's starting to go down, must be dinner time, and then you look over, it's like 11 o'clock at night. Like I can't even imagine. Or for right now, they're getting very, very little light. So, it must be so difficult to maintain alertness and awareness for your brain when there's only 3 hours or whatever of daylight, and you have to still work your 8-hour days and do all these other things. So now hormones also play a role. Hormones like melatonin and cortisol may increase or decrease as part of your circadian rhythm. Melatonin is a hormone that makes you sleepy. As we all know, it's like a big thing right now to like take melatonin supplements, and your body releases more of it at night and suppresses it during the day. Now, my understanding is that serotonin and melatonin are relatable. So, it's very logical to say that if you don't get enough sleep, and you don't have that melatonin release in your body because you're spending time, in bed, then it could very much affect your there's a direct relationship with your serotonin, which will then affect your waking happiness and pleasure source, right? And how you perceive your life. So, cortisol can make you more alert, and your body produces more of it in the morning. Other hormones that play a role in alertness and circadian rhythms include vasopressin, acetylcholine, insulin, and leptin. Okay? Body temperature and metabolism are also part of your circadian rhythm. I mean, really, it's like a lot here. We're talking about a lot of different bodily functions that are relatable to this circadian rhythm. And, I find that super interesting because, again, like most people just relate it to sleep and like whether you are able to sleep at normal times or, you know what I mean, or if you sleep too much or too little or whatever. So I find this really fascinating to realize how much it's actually connected to many of our bodily functions. So, okay, the body temperature and metabolism are also part of your circadian rhythm. Your temperature drops when you sleep and rises during waking hours. Additionally, your metabolism works at different rates throughout the day. Other factors that may also influence your circadian rhythm. Your rhythm may adjust based on your work hours, physical activity, stress, anxiety, and additional habits or lifestyle choices. So age is another factor that influences your circadian rhythm. Infants, teens, and adults all experience a different circadian rhythm. So, babies sleep like, dogs and cats, pretty much most of the day. And then you have teens who sleep long periods of time. So that's super interesting, right? So in babies, they don't actually develop circadian rhythm until they're a few months old, which can cause their, sleep patterns to be extremely erratic when they're newborn, for up to a few months. As the circadian rhythm develops, they adapt to the environment and experience changes to their bodies. They then begin to release melatonin at about 3 months old. So isn't that interesting? I mean, that babies don't even release melatonin from their brains for a few months. And so in subsequence, the hormone cortisol develops between 2 and 9 months old. Wow. So, I mean, what I think about immediately is that then babies begin to, experience the results or, the side effects of stress with, cortisol release at a very young age. Toddlers and children have a fairly regulated sleep schedule. Once their circadian rhythm and body functions mature, children typically need 9 to 10 hours of sleep per night. In teens, teenagers experience a shift in their circadian rhythm known as sleep phase delay. Unlike in their childhood years, with early bedtimes around 8 or 9, teenagers may not get tired until very late in the night. Melatonin may not rise until closer to 10, 11, or even later in teens. And that shift also results in teenagers need to sleep later in the morning. So we all just, it's like funny because, people understand this about teens, but it's not like it's really related to like a literal bodily function, I just love this. Their peak sleepy hours at night are between 3 and 7 a.m. or maybe even later, but they still need the same amount of sleep as children. So why doesn't government pay attention to this idea? Why does high school, I remember in high school, it was like we would start school. I have to be at the bus stop at like freaking 6:30 in the morning. Okay. Really? Because it's like, to me, it looks like the peak sleepy hours are from 3 to 7. So why am I having to wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock to go to school? Why does nobody pay attention and like really, consider this when we're talking about like teens and their needs and like what time should they actually be going to school in high school? Seems to me like a later, ball, especially since like most parents don't even get off work until 5, 6 o'clock. Like it seems to me like teens should be going in at, more like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then being there till 4, right? So, circadian rhythms in adults, let's see. Adults have a pretty consistent circadian rhythm if they practice healthy habits. Their bedtimes and wake times should remain stable if they follow a fairly regular schedule and aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Adults likely get sleepy well before midnight as melatonin releases into their bodies. As adults, we reach our most tired phases of the day from 2 to 4 a.m. and 1 to 3 p.m. Afternoon coffee is a real thing for adults. No wonder. Like, I always thought it was like, oh, my metabolism must not be that great. I must not be sleeping well at night, because I always feel the need for a coffee around like 2 or 3, always. Like, comment below if you're with that, because like, seriously, it is a thing. 3 o'clock, I'm working, and I do online work from home for 2 fashion brands, which all this week I'm wearing the clothes from my company, Sadie and Sage the Label. Really beautiful clothing, really well handmade, lots of cool details. Like this has, the ribbing and like let me see, can I get close enough? Super pretty patterns that are just like, and it's super soft fabric. Yeah, love it. Love the lines. I just went in and got like 19 pieces from the sample sale, and I'm like high on the hog. So anyway, older adults may notice their circadian rhythms changing with age, and they begin to go to bed earlier than they used to and wake in the wee morning hours. And in general, this is a normal aspect of aging. So very interesting. So again, now let's talk a little bit about what can affect our circadian rhythms, right? So what is it that actually causes like a shift to these rhythms in our bodies? Okay, overnight or off-hour work shifts that go against the natural light and dark times of day. So, I think that's pretty interesting. It gives like a whole new concept to, 9 to 5 work hours. Like this is the first time in my life I've ever worked 9 to 5, and I feel so healthy. I'd love actually to do like 4/10s, but unfortunately my job requires, 5/8s. So, okay, work shifts with erratic hours, travel that spans the course of one or more different time zones, so jet lag, a lifestyle that encourages late night hours or early wake times, so musicians, bartenders, servers, any type of job that actually requires you to be there like very late or very early, Starbucks, medications, stress, mental health, and health conditions like brain damage, dementia, head injuries, or blindness. Wow. Also, poor sleep habits, not having a regular sleep schedule, eating or drinking late at night, watching screens too close to bedtime, really a big thing, and not having a comfortable sleep space, right? So if it's hot, stuffy, your bed's uncomfortable, you don't have good enough blankets or too much blankets, all of those things seem to, really make a difference. So how do you reset? Say you take a trip and you don't, like for me last weekend, my circadian rhythms got all off, and I didn't sleep for 2 nights like I had to. I got tattooed for 8 hours and then had to drive 5 hours home, and my work, wanted me working on Monday, and I got tattooed on Sunday, so it was like a big deal, and I ended up not getting home till like 4 a.m., and had to work at 9. And like the night before, my good friend, my tattoo artist, is a very, very, very good friend of mine whom I love so much, as well as his wife. And his wife and I actually like started our conversation around 9 o'clock at night, and we're up till 4 because we hardly ever see each other. So as lovely as it was, I'm sure we both got thrown off on our circadian rhythms that night, and for me it extended to the next night. And so by the following night, like by Monday night, like I still was up until midnight, when normally I fall asleep, pretty early, around 10:30, 11, I get pretty sleepy. I was like up until midnight, even though I had been suffering lack of sleep. It really messed with my rhythms, right? So how do you actually reset yourself? Try to adhere to a routine each day. Spend time outdoors when it's light to boost your wakefulness. Get enough daily exercise, so 20 or more minutes of aerobic exercise is generally recommended. Sleep in an environment that promotes rest with proper lighting, a comfortable temperature, and a supportive mattress. I just bought myself a Serta. It's like called like Brookside Plush or whatever, and it is a jam. It is like got all these coils, and plus it has like cooling and memory foam, but it's not the most plush. It's not the what's it called, pillow top, because I was like afraid of that. I kind of want some decent support, but I don't want a hard bed. This is a jam. I love it. I got it like it was from like $1,800 or $1,600 down to like $8 over Labor Day. Woo, PayPal paying for it, and it is on, man. I'm so grateful for it. Anyhow, and it gets more comfortable after about a month or so because you work in a little bit on those springs, and it, yeah. So anyhow, avoid alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine in the evenings. Power down your screens well before bedtime, and try engaging in an activity such as reading a book, meditating. For me, I listen to YouTube. I don't watch it. I just put it on and listen. And don't take a nap late in the afternoon or evening. Man, I have learned that lesson the hard way. So, there's also the idea of sleep disorders that really can mess with things. Jet lag, shift work disorder, irregular sleep-wake disorder. So, again, use light therapy, set a more regular schedule, take medications or supplements like melatonin to fall asleep more easily. Now, for me, I don't know about you guys, be careful with the melatonin, There's an emergency that is actually a sleep one that has like 3 milligrams plus some vitamins. 2 thumbs up because you get the vitamins too. But dreams, I don't know about anybody else. Comment below. Tell me about your dreams. What have you dreamt on melatonin? Because I was just talking about this with my friend, with my tattoo artist, and he was like, man, have had some of the craziest dreams, and like they're so palpable and realistic. So if you don't, if you experience that, try lowering the dose. But for me, just getting into a regular pattern has really helped, and I've been able to really regulate my sleep wake times. And I'm now sleeping like on Saturday, like this week, because I was so tired by the time I ended the week, and got back into my own rhythmic patterns, right? And so I went to bed at like 11 o'clock on Friday and didn't wake up till like 10 on Saturday. Like my body was like, girl, we need to make up for this. So Feeling pretty good now, but yeah. So I'm trying really hard not to take melatonin because of the dreams, man. And so, again, disruption to your circadian rhythm can cause health conditions in several parts of the body in a long-term way. This includes your organs, cardiovascular system, metabolism, gastrointestinal system, and your skin. So, yeah, there's like a real, from what I understand, the beauty sleep thing is very real. And I'm someone, as I'm in my 40s now, trying to take care of my skin and, to try to age gracefully here. And it is something I'm really working toward, and so you may also be more susceptible to diabetes, obesity, and mental health conditions on the long term, but in the short term, memory issues, lack of energy, delayed wound healing, changes to your hormonal cycle, which can affect fertility, problems with digestion, and shifts in your body temperature, okay? So, the last part of this is, when do you contact a doctor? When do you go, okay, this is becoming a real issue? If you have trouble achieving adequate sleep each night, if you have a problem falling asleep, if you awaken several times a night and fail to get back to sleep and get quality sleep because of it. Like for me, I'm up peeing because I drink water all day long, so a coffee in the morning and then water and my little green drink. But like, I get up probably 2 or 3 times a night to pee. And honestly, I got this little camp toilet, this little camp potty, because at one time, it was so overwhelming. It was really affecting my sleep. And, the camp potty actually has a toilet. You can actually flush it, and it has like a little 5-gallon receiver in the bottom that I put in my bedroom so I didn't have to walk through the house, get cold, get into the light, and all these things at that time. But now I'm sleeping better, and just getting up twice a night is not as big of a deal. But, man. So anyway, if you have trouble waking up or you feel extremely tired during waking hours despite sleep, now be aware that long-term use of sleep drugs like, what was it, Lyrica? Like when I had to have 6 surgeries on my arm and I had all this pain and I was not sleeping. And they gave me Lyrica, and I had to get off it because I would wake up in the morning and get, in some weird zombie state, get my kids together, get their backpacks, give them breakfast, get them dressed, get in the car and start driving them to school, and then wake up, in my mind at a stop sign somewhere and have no recollection really of what had just happened. And so, yeah, that was a no, and it can be dangerous. So if you do decide to take drugs for sleep, please be aware. Please have someone else helping you, make sure you're not having any weird side effects, dangerous sleepwalking, things like that. Okay, so the bottom line is, circadian rhythms are your body's natural way of keeping its 24-hour body clock. Helping your body operate on a healthy sleep-wake schedule is equivalent to living a healthy lifestyle. Promoting proper rest will help you maintain this important component of your body, right? So anyway, that's about it. I know I kind of rambled on there for a few, but thank you so much for being here today, and I hope you learned something that'll help you, because I did. I had no idea all of this was so relatable, right? So super interesting. So anyway, we have a couple more sessions this week. I'm not quite sure what I'll do tomorrow. I'm still sort of mulling over the different categories and stuff, and on Friday we will do another reading. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you more than I can express. And please comment below. I'd love to hear the melatonin dreams. They're super interesting and crazy, and can be even scary, like nightmares. So be aware of that. But okay, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Thank you so much, or day, depending on when you're watching this. I appreciate you so much. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye.